Hello, and welcome back once again to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office here in Troy, Alabama, helping take care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they received from the Children's Trust Fund, whose mission is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So thank you for tuning in once again. And as you can see, it's a beautiful day out here today. And we've actually been doing a lot of gardening, adding some lilies to our garden. And I thought, wouldn't it be just perfect to put some more lilies over on the hill over on the side and see if there's some yoga poses that crop up. So, without further ado, let's go over to the hillside. So as you can see, there's this nice little hillside right here. And we're going to be putting some daylilies down on the hillside. So first we need to make sure that we're protecting our hands. Yep. Now this isn't exactly a little gardener's trowel, but it's what I got on hand, so that's what we're going to be using today. So with the daylilies, they are a bulb flower. And you can see a lot of the roots and bulbs right down in there. So what we're going to do with our yoga here is we're going to start off with a child's pose. Nice little stretch to get all warmed up. Kind of stretches the back. Take a breath. Give a little thanks for the bounty of lilies that we've received. And then back up into our hero's pose. So what we're going to do here, in our hero's pose, we're going to dig maybe an inch or two down. And this position looks an awful lot like tabletop. So once we've dug down just enough to cover those roots, there we go. We're going to put the lilies down in there. And we're just going to cover them back up. And this is going to make a beautiful hillside as all these flowers start to come up and blossom. So, from our tabletop here, we can get into any number of yoga poses. We can go to downward facing dog by tucking our toes up under and lifting our hips up, leaning back, making sure we have a nice straight line between our hips and our head. And then come back down to our tabletop. Let's try that again. Let's do another little lily. Make sure that we're digging up about, 2 to 3 inches here. Just enough to kind of put the roots in the dirt. And once you have an opening that's big enough, you can put those roots right in that hole. And then cover them up, making sure that there's plenty of dirt to hold them down. Sometimes you might need to take some grass or rocks or sticks or something just to make sure that they stay in place. And once everything's planted, we'll come back and water them. And I wonder what positions that will remind us of. So let us move up the hill just a little bit. Again, we're using our downward facing dog, pushing our hands back up so we can come to our feet, bending our knees, bringing our hands up into a nice intense pose or chair pose. We're going to reach back down, pick up our little blanket or our towel, and move on over. Coming back to our downward facing dog, to our tabletop, and here we are again. So again, we're going to just dig down 2 to 3 inches here. and put some lilies down. And of course we're going to cover them up. And eventually this whole hillside will be covered with daylilies. And hopefully some of them will survive. So again, nice, dig in, roots down, cover up, which brings us to a nice child's pose. Ooh, what a nice little stretch for our back. And if you don't quite have a nice hillside you can practice on, you can always practice just at home, in your front yard, in your backyard. You can practice anywhere that makes you happy. Ultimately, we are creating our own happy place. And these daylilies make me happy. So now that we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of daylilies, we can empty out the bag that they came in and see if there's any other bulbs. Looks like that's it. So that's inspiration for our yoga today. So once you've had all of your lilies planted, how do you recover from your gardening? Well, you take your little blanket or you take your towel. You can drop your trowel or scoop. I'm going to keep my gloves on just because I want to make sure my hands are protected. Let's see if we can review some of the postures that we've practiced. So we have our forward fold. So that is starting from mountain pose. That's our straight up standing posture with our feet under our hips. And again, this is outside, so if you don't quite have even standing, that's okay. Just do the best you can. So feet under your hips, hips under your shoulders, shoulders under your ears. Everything's lined up. Hands at your side, nice and relaxed. And then breathe in, bring your arms up overhead. Breathe out, bring your hands down to the ground in our nice forward fold. Bend your knees, bring your hands up as you inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. One more time. All together, breathe in, bring your hands up overhead. Breathe out, bring your hands down to the ground. Now, we started off with some down-facing dog over there with the lilies. So let's put our hands on the floor, our feet back. Make sure there's a nice straight line between our hands and our bottoms and our heels. Now I'm a little bit on a hill here, so I've spread my feet out just to kind of get an even footing. From here, you can bring your knees down to our tabletop again. And here we are in tabletop. Now from here, we can do some more midsection exercises. And you can tuck your toes under. You can leave your shoes on, especially if you're outside. You can tuck your toes under. Make sure your hands are nice and level. You're going to lift your knees up just a little bit and tap one foot and then tap the other. Tap one foot and then tap the other. Let's do that 2 more times. Tap one foot and then tap the other. Last time. Tap one foot and then tap last time, and bring your knees down. And let's go back to that child's pose that we seem to like a whole lot when we're planting the lilies. And from this child's pose, you can come back up to your tabletop. And let's do a little cat and cow here. We can arch our back by dropping our head and dropping our bottoms down. This is a nice cat stretch. You should feel it all the way up through your spine. And then slowly let your spine sink, turning your hips and your head up towards the sky. And this is that cow stretch. So a friend of mine told me that when you arch your back up like a cat, it makes your spine into a rainbow. And then as you sink your spine down to the cow, your spine smiles with delight. So let's go for our rainbow and our smile. One more time, make your spine into a rainbow. And then down to a smile. Everyone's happy when our spines are moving this way. Let's go ahead back down to our child's pose. Excellent. Come back up. Let's go ahead into our hero pose. And from here, we're going to have a couple of variations. Now, hero's pose, you're kneeling down on your knees. Your hips are coming back over your heels, so you're stretching your knees and your upper thighs in here. So, our first variation here is rising and falling hero. Can you do that? Rising and falling. Rising up and falling down. Excellent. Now, even though we're in the garden, another variation here of hero's pose is the mermaid pose. Have you heard of this one? Where you sit your hips down on the ground and let your mermaid tail come around. You're going to keep your back, your spine upright, and let your feet come around towards the back. You can use your hands to hold yourself upright and take a nice breath. This kind of stretches your hips. It stretches the top and inner bit of your upper thigh here. One more time. Then we're going to come back to hero's pose. So we can go down to the other side of mermaid pose. So you bring your hip to the ground. Your mermaid tail comes around to the back. And hold yourself upright so you can breathe. And take a nice deep breath in and stretch your hips and your legs. Wonderful. Now that we're here and our hips on the ground, let's go ahead and bring our feet up in front of us in a nice wide-legged posture. Okay? So we're going to take a nice deep breath in, straighten and lengthen your spine, turn and face your left foot, and exhale and reach out towards your foot. If you can grasp it, that's wonderful. If you can't, that's okay. Just honor what your body's willing to do today. One more breath. And then as you inhale, bring your back up, lengthen and straighten. Exhale, turn and face the front, and bring your arms down to your side. How you feeling? Wonderful. Let's do that for the other side now. So breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn and face your right foot. Exhale, reach your hands towards that opposite foot there, your right foot. Now again, if you can reach your foot, that's wonderful. If you cannot, that is okay. Just if you can reach your knee, great, reach for it. If you can reach your shin or your calf, reach for it. If you can reach your ankle, reach for it. Just do whatever your body's saying it wants to do today. All right, so we're going to take another inhale and straighten up. Lengthen and straighten the spine. Exhale, turn and face the front, and let everything relax. Go ahead and shake your legs out. Good. Now let's breathe in. Bring our hands up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down in front of us. See how far you can get your hands to reach. Maybe you can reach further than your feet. Maybe not quite so far. Maybe somewhere in between. So just feel that good stretch. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, you're going to straighten up your spine and sit upright. Wonderful. Now, let's see if we can rotate our spine from left to right, okay? So we're going to breathe in, lengthen and straighten our spine. And as we breathe out, we're going to turn to our left. We can use our hands to just hold us there, but we're not going to wrench our back by turning to the side. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, lengthen and straighten your spine. Exhale and turn towards the front. Let's do that same thing for the opposite side. So we're going to breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Exhale and turn to the right. Again, you can have your hands hold you there, but don't try to wrench your back into a position it's not wanting to go to. One more breath. And then as we inhale, we're going to lengthen and straighten our spine. Exhale and turn back to the front. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and do a nice forward fold here. Reach forward. Bring your hands as far as you can. 2, 1. On your next inhale, go ahead and straighten up. And let's come to our bound angle pose. Okay, let's bring our feet in so that the bottoms are touching. And see if you can get your knees to come down here towards the ground. Now, not everyone's knees will do this, and that's okay. This is not a place of judgment. This is, let's see what our body is capable or willing to do today. So, with a gentle pressure here, just a little bit of pressure, see if you can push your knees down and really feel that stretch. Now, once you've stretched and you're feeling a little wiggly, I know you do, go ahead and bring your knees up a little bit, hold on to your feet, and let's do the little butterfly, just a little bounce. You're going to lift your leg up, let it fall, and just let it bounce. And that's your butterfly posture. So you want to try to keep your back straight up. If you can't, a slight lean is okay, but don't let that strain hurt your back. Okay, once you've gotten all your wiggles out, go ahead and straighten your legs up so that your feet are in front of you. Bring your right foot to your left knee. This is our figure 4 stretch. So we're going to breathe in, lengthen and straighten our spine. Breathe out and reach towards that left foot. Hold it here for 3 breaths. Let's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. On your last inhale, straighten up your back, lengthen and straighten your spine, and then bring your right foot back out with your left foot and kind of shake it out. Wonderful. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and bring your left foot to your right knee. Breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Breathe out and reach for your right foot. See where you can feel the stretch. Keep your mind engaged here. Observe what feels tight, what feels stretchy, and what just is kind of there. One more breath, and then on your next inhale, lengthen and straighten your spine as you come back up. And exhale and let everything relax. Go ahead and bring your legs out in front of you. Shake them out. And let's observe the easy pose. That's crisscross applesauce for all you kids out there. So, from here, it's a great opportunity just to catch your breath and be mindful of how your body's feeling. Are there things that are tight now that weren't tight before? Are there things that are loose and stretchy now that weren't there before? Just take a moment, about 3 to 5 breaths, and just observe how your body is feeling right now. Observe how your head feels, how your neck and shoulders feel, how your arms down to your fingertips feel. How do they feel right now? How does your chest feel or your upper back? How does your midsection feel? How do your hips feel? Just observe what's there and just keep a tally on how your body is feeling. Observe how your legs feel, how your shins and your calves feel, how your ankles and your feet feel. The simple act of observing how you feel in this moment now, that is mindfulness. There's no secret to it. There's no big trick. It's just being mindful of how your body feels right now in the present. So you can make anything a mindfulness exercise, which will help you bring your chaos and everything outside of you to a nice, quiet, serene oasis. Whenever that stress is hitting you, like for graduation or tests or having to pick up all your things, all you have to do is be mindful, be present in how you're feeling at the moment. And with this is going to bring us to our close today. Thank you very much for joining me gardening the lilies on the hillside. My name is Tony. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they received from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. Thank you very much for joining me here out on the hillside by the studio. I look forward to seeing you again next week for our next episode of Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. The light in me recognizes and is grateful for the light in you. Until we meet again, Please be kind to yourself and others. Namaste.